Isn't this exactly what we specified when we established these charters, that someone had to request reappointment?
Yes, after they missed their 3 meetings, if they wanted to be reappointed, they'd have to come to the board.
Right, so there was no prohibition against it. We just decided they had to go back to the board to be reappointed.
Correct.
Well, these impress me as about as legitimate a reason as you could come up with for missing committee meetings, so I move reappointment.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I bet he would prefer to have not missed the meetings.
I think so. I think you're right.
Next item is ordinances. First reading for ordinance 11-03, amendment to the Farragut zoning ordinance, chapter 4, section 10, parking and unloading 3, to modify parking requirements for large retail facilities.
Matter of practice, we kind of monitor parking lots to see if we have over parking, under parking, and if our requirements are in line with really what is needed for our community, our business community. A few years back, we modified parking requirements for our larger multi-tenant facilities and reduced the parking requirements. And development since that amendment has shown that that parking amendment really was in line with what was needed in light of vacancies, vacant spaces, and that sort of thing. Many of the businesses will choose to build more than what is required, but that's a business decision. Our goal with our requirements is just to make sure we do not require more parking spaces than what's actually needed. We currently only have 2 large freestanding retail facilities in town, one being Gander Mountain and the other one J.C. Penney. In the memo to you, I included their gross square footage, the number of spaces provided, the number of spaces required, and then the difference between those 2 numbers. And if you have watched their businesses, you will note that they have really a lot of extra parking. This is the J.C. Penney parking lot. It's very large, and they have a lot. This is just a different perspective of it. And this was on a weekend. You can see there's a lot of vacant spaces. This is I just happened to notice the date, and I keep reminding myself I have to fix the date on my camera, so sorry about that. But again, this is the Gander Mountain parking lot, and again, there's a lot of vacant parking spaces. And so when Gander Mountain came to us and told us that they were looking at expanding their facility, we said, well, that's good timing because we've been watching this, and you really are way over parked, and are you going to have a parking problem? They said, well, we don't think so, but we'll check and we'll get back with you. And they found that they could not meet our current requirements with their expansion. And so we took this to the Planning Commission as a workshop and then for a vote, and recommended that for large freestanding retailers that parking be dropped from 4 parking spaces per 1,000 to 3.5 spaces per 1,000. The Gander Mountain site plan was approved last month. Subject to this approval, this ordinance being approved, because their new site plan does expand to the east side and does take up some of the existing parking spaces. The Planning Commission recommended unanimously in favor of Ordinance 1103, and staff also does recommend approval of this ordinance.
Worth noting that, was it both of these places put in more parking spaces than we required?
Yes, J.C. Penney constructed 42 additional parking spaces, and Gander Mountain constructed 19 additional parking spaces. Now, I have been told by people who run restaurants that the reason they like to do additional parking is because they want people to drive by and say, ooh, there's empty parking spaces, there's no wait, we can get in. I'm not really sure retail you know, I guess there's always that hope at from Thanksgiving to Christmas that they'll need that extra parking. Really hasn't proven itself out, and so we really just want to get our requirements in line with actual usage rates. And again, if they do, add more, that's a business decision on their part. But we don't want our ordinance to be something that prevents them from making modifications to their site in the future or with new businesses coming into town. And as asphalt prices go up, I'm sure that'll be helpful too.
Well, Ruth, I'd like to acknowledge and commend staff for being proactive and taking this on and looking for a way to reduce the impermeable surfaces in the town and its impact on our stormwater runoff, and also just a reasonable common sense approach to a problem for all of us. Well, thank you for that.
Any downsides? I mean, it's not like they could free up a chunk enough of land, create an out parcel, sell it, put something there.
Possibly J.C. Penney could, but then whatever is developed there would need to meet the parking requirements for whatever establishment they built. So I don't really see a downside in that respect.
Okay. Then I will move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, town administrators report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things tonight. One is tomorrow, Friday evening, we have a gallery at the Red Line Gallery. We had Art in the Park last weekend where artists were painting various portraits of Campbell Station Park, Old Concord, Village area. They were also at, I believe, Anchor Park and the Russell House. And there will be on display tomorrow evening at the Red Line Gallery from 7 to 9 p.m. with an auction of the paintings, and all of the auction money will come back to Farragut Parks. So we're excited about that and hope for a good turnout. So everybody that can come, certainly we welcome. Also on Saturday, as part of the Dogwood Arts Festival, I should have said that's part of the Dogwood Arts Festival, is the Book Fest for children, and that will be at Campbell Station Park and the library, and that'll be from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Saturday. So I know it's supposed to be a little stormy out there, but we hope that we'll have a good turnout for that as well. And I would just like to, from the staff's perspective, tell Alderman Williams how much we appreciate his service to the town the last 4 years and his support of staff, and we just wish him well on his newest and best endeavors.
Thank you. It's a great staff. I've enjoyed it too.
Thanks.
I'm curious, has anybody here seen any of those paintings yet, either in process or after finish?
Have you seen? Yeah. Yeah.
The only comment that I heard is that one of the people that went to see him, I think at Campbell Station Park, was that she felt like the name of the artist, and I don't know, was it there or not? She thought that every time we had a different artist, their name should be placed where somebody could see it. That was the only thing I heard. Okay.
Next item is Associate Town Administrator's report.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Engineer's report.
Just one item. I didn't put this on the overhead. I just printed this off right before I came downstairs a while ago. I'm looking at the first page of a TDOT contract for the Kingston Pike project at Everett Road. That is, I do have confirmation that it is in the May 6th letting at TDOT, and it has a completion date of October 31, 2012. So, Alderman Williams, you have asked me numerous times, when is this project going to happen? And I've never been able to tell you exactly when things will get started, but I can on your last meeting with us tonight.
Well, thank you, sir. I mean, I remember asking that question over 4 years ago, and I got exactly the same answer, 2012.
I'm good.
You were right on.
Recorder's report.
I have 3 invoices for you tonight. The first one's Hardin Valley Academy for $10,000, Kramer Racing for $8,739, and Rural Metro for $14,374.98. That's all.
Discussion.
Not hard.
Then I'll move for approval of those bills.
I'll second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Quickest meeting.
Attorney's report.
I would just like to tell Alderman Williams that we're going to miss his insightful questions in our executive sessions, and we know how much he's going to miss those times we have together. Appreciate all your hard work, sincerely, and I have nothing else to report tonight.
And I said Friday night that Alderman Williams' departure is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's bad because we'll miss his eloquent rhetoric, and it's good because our meetings are shorter, as is evidenced right now. We now have, this is the second shortest.
Yes, it is.
I think you're right. I think it's
The shortest was the last meeting. Were you here?
I was here, and I think that was the first.
We are adjourned. This is what happens when you do all your business in workshops. Right?